Let's take a look at how they will go to post.
Fast qualifier Dave Steele will start outside row number 3, and with 4 wins already this year, Jack, Bobby Santos comes off the pole.
In that row number 4, you find Aaron Fike and Brad Kuhn, and flanking them in row 6, Levi Jones, the defending sprint car champion, and a Triple Crown winner, Dave Darlin.
Starting 14th here tonight, making his first USAC national start since leaving Tony Stewart Racing, Kyle Nicholas in the Nicholas Motorsports 02, and Joe Ligori way back in the field. Doing a great job to hold off, and it looks like Hagan now trying to get a jump on the 4.
And there you go. Advantage to Darren Hagan at the drop of the green flag as they come up to speed over 100 miles an hour. It is Darren Hagan on the outside, and look at his teammate Brian Clausen in the black number 67 going with him on the high side.
Brian Clausen, 17 years old, first ever time here at Salem. Now the Keith Kunz Motorsports team did test here, but race conditions are a lot different than testing here. Look at that. Keith Kunz 1-2 right now with Hagan and Brian Clausen.
Out of turn number 2, a move for the lead. The youngster takes over from his teammate. Brian Clausen is now the leader here at Salem in the 30-lap midget main.
Yeah, you can see right around the outside. You heard it from Dave Steele as he closes in on those 2 black cars. Hagan back to the inside down in turn 1. Right around the middle of 1 and 2, Jack up on the fence in 3 and 4 as it looks like caution out one more time.
Yellow flag is displayed. We will go back to the last completed green flag lap, and it comes out for the youngster Brad Loyette.
Yeah, Loyette out of Sun.
And then the veteran Dave Steele as the green flag is out, and we are underway yet again. This time Hagan is ready for Clausen's move into 1 and 2, and look at Steele. Steele tries to do the Clausen move, but to no avail. Clausen holds on to second.
Yeah, on these restarts is where you're going to see these guys really trying to make a pass. As these things come up to speed here and the temperature builds in these tires here, you're going to see a lot of what we might call drafting in the midgets. Is it'll kind of be where the guy goes in front of you, you're going to follow him. And Brian Clausen now on the back bumper of Darren Hagan. You can see there, Jack, unable to really make a pass there entering turn 3.
Clausen, though, trying to set up his teammate. Remember, there are no rear view mirrors in these cars. There are spotters, so you can be sure that Darren Hagan knows that his Keith Kunz Motorsports teammate is lurking right behind him. And likewise for Clausen, he knows where Steele is.
And we talked about how rough the track is. You can see when these guys go in the corner, the sparks off the rear of that car when the chassis bottoms out, especially entering turn number 3. About 16 to 18 gallons of fuel they'll start with on these race cars. That added weight, as you see right there, sparks flying.
It looks to be a 3-car breakaway at 111 miles an hour as we have completed 5 laps with Darren Hagan out front, his teammate Clausen in second, and Dave Steele third. But all of a sudden, Hagan looks very, very loose, bouncing around, especially coming out of the corners.
Yeah.
Look!
We saw it in hot laps. A lot of guys were hanging off turn 4, getting that right rear really hot. You don't want to hook the car up too much here, mostly because of the bumps. You want the car a little bit loose so you can get through the bumps. But it's a fine line. Keith Kunz Motorsports, Pete Willoughby, those guys know how to set the race car up. Bobby Santos, though, we kind of expected to see a little more out of him earlier in this race.
In that Terry Klatt Clorox special, he has faded. He is still in the 4th position, but these 3 cars have pulled away, and it has become a slugfest between the 3 of them, not only between themselves as drivers, but challenging this racetrack as well.
Dave Steele there in that 3rd spot. You can see him run a little bit lower line than the 2 Keith Kunz Motorsports cars there in turns 1 and 2. And like we said, Jack, he's a veteran. He knows this place very well. Another guy that knows this place is that man, Jerry Kuntz Jr. and the Wilkie Pack Racers 11 won this race 1 year ago.
And he needs a good finish tonight because he is chasing the points title going into this race. Steele takes a look to the inside and gets by. Do we have a change in position? Yes. 2nd place now belongs to Dave Steele.
And it looks like trouble for Darren Hagan. Couldn't quite tell the 2 Keith Kunz Motorsports cars apart, but Hagan was slow in the backstretch. Now very slow entering turn number 1. Tough break for the 71 car.
After leading the initial laps here, Darren Hagan is finding his way back to pit road as a battle for now the 3rd position is underway, and the caution is displayed for the 2nd time this evening. Wow, what a tough break for Darren Hagan. And it is out for Bohannon, for Nick Bohannon, who has spun. Is this a break for... Notice how he got all the sponsors in there in one bold stroke.
That's pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with him. You work with Darren Hagan a lot on TV, and he's going to get better as the year goes on.
Brian Clausen has moved out to a 3-car length advantage over that white 91 of Dave Steele, and looks as if Bobby Santos might be able to close just a little bit. But now he must contend with the 11, the Wilkie Pack Special of Jerry Coons Jr.
Jerry Coons having a fantastic year this year so far in the midget division. Your current point leader, 7 points over Jay Drake. We mentioned it before. Trying to defend his win here as he got the win for Wilkie Pack last year here at Salem. A race right now for the lead is Dave Steele on the back bumper of Brian Clausen, trying to size up the youngster down in turn 2.
There are few drivers as talented in the USAC divisions as Dave Steele is. And what I mean by talented, I mean sizing up the competition, finding out where your car will work as he goes to the inside, and then trying to initiate a pass and complete it. But how about, you can see him sawing at the wheel, the 67 of Clausen. He's got his hands full, but he's holding on.
Well, it goes to show Dave Steele wasn't lying to us earlier when he talked to Brian Pedigo about where to pass. He keeps trying down in turn 1, following Brian Clausen in turn 3. Again, he's running a little bit lower there than Clausen in turn 1. You can see Brian Clausen getting a little loose, but he's a veteran. He knows there's plenty of laps here, trying to size him up as we reach the halfway point.
As Brian Clausen continues to lead this event, I am impressed solely by the fact that outside of a brief testing period about a week ago, this is Brian's first visit ever behind the wheel of a race car to this old monster, this old lady known as the Salem Speedway.
Well, I tell you what, nobody really thought he was going to be as good on the pavement this year as he is. He's won 2 sprint car races on the pavement, trying to win his midget race here on the pavement. His second career midget win, if he can hold on here. His first one, Jack, was on the pavement.
Talking about pavement dominance, I've got to go for the New Englander. You know how I feel about Bobby Santos III, and he runs in that 3rd position. And Jerry Coons is trying to do a tattoo on him. Let's see what Dave Steele can accomplish in turns 3 and 4. Steele a little higher that time. Clausen not necessarily pinching it down, but continues to lead as we have passed the halfway mark. Will it be Clausen or Steele, or might there be an upset in the making? Don't go away. Back here at Salem Speedway, it is a 1-2 tango between Brian Clausen and Dave Steele. Rob, they both drive what is the predominant chassis in midget car racing. Out of the Bob East shops, it's called a Beast, and it has been a beast in midget racing for quite some time. Let's take a look.
16 Beast chassis here tonight, 1 stealth and 1 competition welding. So Beast chassis very dominant on the pavement. And when you got the best car out there, that's what you want to buy, is a Beast car.
It is tough to beat, and it has become the Beast. One of the Beasts, though, has expired. Jay Drake, and this will be costly in Drake's pursuit of the championship, as he was just a few points behind Jerry Coons Jr. going into this race. We are in our 3rd caution of the evening.
Right now, Brian Clausen, a good jump on the Toyota Power as they come off turn 4.
Dave Steele now has his hands full with the number 4, the Clorox Special. Bobby Santos tried to make the move on that start, and then the car washed out on him.
Well, Dave Steele with the Toyota Power, doesn't look like those things come off the bottom of the racetrack very good, especially on these restarts. Santos almost pushing him all the way down the front stretch.
Down low goes Steele yet again, trying to challenge for that lead as we've got a toss-up a little further back. In the 4th position is Jerry Coons. 5th is Josh Wise, and Brad Loyette has stalled again, come to a stop down the long back straightaway here at this half-mile Salem Speedway.
Away, but keep an eye on that blue and white number 4 as Brian Clausen been really good on restarts, and again gets a great jump on Dave Steele.
And yet again comes the 4 to the inside, challenging for the 2nd position, and then down into turn number 1, Steele gets the better of it and holds on to 2nd.
Tracy Hines tried to the inside there of Josh Wise with Dave Darlin on his back bumper. A good battle about mid-pack right now as Jerry Coons taking a look to the inside there of Bobby Santos.
A little loose there on Clausen's part. You can see him coming out of the corner. He has still got his hands full as we continue to have a tussle back there in that 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th position.
Well, this year a little bit harder right rear tire on these USAC National Midgets. Normally run a 7.3 compound, this year a 7.8. So the first time here at Salem with that little bit harder tire. So maybe hard to get these things hooked up here as the track kind of cools down, kind of tightens up just a little bit. But two-car breakaway once again, Jack, as Brian Clausen, Dave Steele toss a blanket over these guys.
You don't think that the track roughness has come into play in this race at all, do you? I do.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty rough. And like I said, those guys bouncing around. The car gets up there on the gas, and the rear end wants to jump out from them. But, you know, like you said, they know their way around here. Dave Steele really knows his way around as he'll try the inside of Clausen off turn 2. Can't quite make the pass.
And Clausen just keeps his foot buried in that bullet midget out of the Keith Kunz Motorsports stable and lengthens his advantage to about 2 car lengths. Then down into turn number 1. Here comes Steele again as Kunz tries to challenge Bobby Santos for third. Steele is not letting go, nor is Kunz for Bobby Santos' position. And Josh Wise has picked up the hunt now.
Josh Wise in that Tony Stewart blue and white number 20 car. Again, your defending national midget car champion in a pretty big dogfight there with Santos leading the way. Kunz, Josh Wise, Tracy Hines, and Dave Darlin.
All of these positions remain in play with just a handful of laps remaining. But the big question mark is, will Brian Clausen be able to score a victory for the Target Chip Ganassi development team out of the Keith Kunz Motorsports stable? Right now, he's been wrestling with the car a little bit more, Rob, than let's say he did in the previous 10 or 15 laps.
Well, we don't know if Brian Clausen is putting it down all the way around. He knows he has a couple car length advantage over Dave Steele. Probably doesn't really hear the 91 car on his back bumper, so you can see him right now maybe decide, well, hey, got a few laps, I need to get out of here, and he's starting to pull away as the white flag comes out, 1 lap to go.
Less than a half mile to stardom for 17-year-old Brian Clausen, driving as part of Target Chip Ganassi's vast stable of drivers in IndyCar, Nextel Cup, and in USAC. As he comes across the stripe, the teenager will do it. And his crew, led by Keith Kunz, celebrates the victory by 17-year-old Brian Clausen. Wow. So job number 1 has been completed by this young man. The big question now is, can he come back and join Dave Steele, Pancho Carter, and Jeff Gordon with a Salem sweep? He'll think about that in a moment. Right now, he wants to enjoy the laurels of victory earned from this USAC 30-lap midget car main event.
You can see Darren Hagan, his teammate, down there congratulating him. As Brian Clausen gets his 2nd career midget win, first here in 2006.
So how will the crowd greet this victory by this teenager? Let's listen.
Well, Brian Clausen, a tremendous run here at Salem Speedways. You can see very excited as he climbs out of the Keith Kunz Motorsports number 67.
And gets the congratulations from his car owner, Keith Kunz. Rob, I think when we Monday morning quarterback this race, you're going to have to take a look at the move that this youngster made on a faltering teammate by the name of Darren Hagan. He showed the poise of a veteran far older than his chronological age of just 17 years old. The crowd continuing to celebrate. Let's go back and take a
Congratulations.
look.
You're one of the youngest drivers in USAC out here right now. You've gone to 2 of the tracks that are what some people would call the scariest for the first time and won this season. What is it about these high banks that you like so much?
You know, we've been able to get good starting spots both times out here, and you know, Keith's been just giving me great cars there. You know, me and Darren were running 1-2 there, and he had some problems, and you know, we were able to get around him there, and eventually I think he pulled in. But you know, from there we just kind of cruised and tried to stay low and not give up anything off the corners there. You know, we talked about earlier how tough it was to pass here, and you know, so I knew if I could just get off the corners straight and not leave anything out there, I think we'd be all right.
How'd you hold off Steele there at the very end? It looked like he almost had you at the very end of the race.
Yeah, he was making runs on me in 2. I knew that's where I was losing all my time at, and we just couldn't seem to get off there. Turn 2 over there is pretty tricky. You know, you get up too high, you're tight, and if you get down too low, you're loose. So you know, we were a little free the whole race there, and you know, once he showed me the nose, I kind of calmed myself down and just tried to get off there straight, and you know, trying to beat him down in the next corner.
Well, congratulations once again, and you have proven that you are apparently fearless on the racetrack.
Yeah, thank you. I got to say thanks to all the guys, you know, Bo, Keith, Pete, Yogi, Dan, Al, all the guys, Rusty, they just gave me great cars, both places, and here tonight was just an asset. It just shows how much our team's grown all year on the pavement side of things, and we're looking forward to going back.